Hey guys, it's Melanie. Happy Thursday. So today I'm going to do the perfect palette 2 tag. I wasn't tagged by anyone, but I did see Miss Crystal do this video, and I did the perfect palette 1 tag video, and I will list that video down below. And so when I saw the second version of this tag was going around, I was like, perfect. I would say the thing that I like to spend the money on the most is probably eyeshadow. So this is something that I'm really passionate about when it comes to makeup. Is I just get very obsessive about eyeshadow. So I thought this would be the perfect tag for me to do, especially since I did the first one. So I have the questions here in front of me, and I will also link Miss Crystal's video down below as well. So if you want to go check out what her answers were, you can see them down there. So we're going to dive right in so that this isn't super long. I've got all of my palettes sitting off here to my right. So eyeliner, brush, or nothing included in your palette. I would probably go with nothing, because most times the eyeliner that's included is kind of like a cheap eyeliner, not all that great quality, or it's a double-ended brush. The brush might be really good quality, but it's double-ended, and I hate storing those. They're a pain in the ass. So for me, if it helps to bring the cost of the palette down just a little bit to not have those things included, I would rather just not have them included at all, especially if it's also going to save space. We all know that storing these palettes, if you have a lot of them, can get a little bit tedious. So the smaller they make them, the better for storage. So nothing is my answer. Name a palette you've hit pan on. And there's only one in my collection, and it's actually one that I'm getting ready to purge, so I'm surprised that I still have it. But this is the Tarte Flower Child palette. This was the one that was designed by Tina Turnbow. So this is old, but I totally hit pan. This one came with a double-ended liner, by the way, and a brush. I don't know where the brush is, but check out the pan on that one right there. Am I pointing to it? Yeah. Okay, there we go. I loved that shade, and I just used the hell out of it. I don't know the name of it because there was no names for any of these colors. I'm sure at some point there was one of those sheets that sat over the top that told me the name, but I love that color, and I just wore it on my lid for days and days and days on end. So didn't really use much else in the palette, but that one I hit pan on. Out of all of my palettes, that's the only one. Okay, favorite Naked palette. So I have all of the Naked palettes except for the new smoky one, because I didn't need a smoky palette. It's not realistic for me every single day. But I had to go with the Naked Basics 2. I also don't own Naked Basics 1. I guess I should clarify that too. Naked Basics 2 is such an easy palette to travel with. And it's mostly mattes, with the exception of this guy here, who's a shimmer. Skimp. It's not even a shimmer. It's more of like a satin shade. But these are so easy to blend. It's a bunch of neutrals in a compact little palette. Like I said, easy to travel with. And the quality is just amazing. I do find that with Naked 1, 2, and 3, that the quality on all of the shadows in there kind of varies. Like the ones that have a lot of glitter chunks in them can be frustrating for me, because I don't really like glittery shadows per se, and I find them difficult to work with. So there's quite a few colors in each of those Naked palettes, 1, 2, and 3, that I've never even really used because I just don't like them. But with this one, I've used every single shade, and I love this palette overall. So Naked Basics 2 wins for me for best Naked palette. Favorite holiday or limited edition palette. Some of you might kill me for showing this, but it's the original Lorac Pro Mega. This was the first mega palette that they came out with, and I love this thing. I was so glad that I was able to get my hands on it. They handled the release of it very poorly, and I was obsessively trying to get it. But I love this palette. I didn't care for the one that she came out with last year, so I didn't pick it up, but this one here, hands down, favorite holiday limited edition palette that I've ever gotten. Love all the colors, love all the textures, love the formula of Lorac shadows in general, so this one won out for me. Name a palette you would repurchase or wish you had a backup of if no longer available. This was so easy, you guys. It's the Kat Von D Ladybird palette. Those of you that have this, you should cherish this because it's one of my favorite palettes. It's all mattes. Oops. Sorry. Oh, hell. It's all mattes. And it's just a gorgeous range of like fall, winter shades. And they're just beautiful. I love the texture. I love the colors. I love the selection. Everything in this palette is wonderful and super wearable, and I think it would work for so many different people. And I'm sad that she discontinued this style because I feel like it was a good price for what you got, and I like the packaging too. It's metal. It's just honestly one of my favorite palettes. Name a shade you wish were sold individually. And this, I'm going to have to pull out the Too Faced Natural Matte palette. And the shade I would like to actually have individually, because I'll be sad if I ever run out of it, is this Risque color in this palette. This one right here. It's a plummy brown. It's definitely a plummy brown. It's gorgeous. And in the crease, I love it. I just love this shade. This whole palette I adore. This is one of my favorite palettes ever. Along with this and a whole lot of other palettes. I just really love this palette. As soon as Too Faced released this, I was like, I must have this. I'm not as into like the warm shades down here, which I think most people are actually into. But I like these cooler, more neutral shades here. But yeah, Risque. That's the one I wish I had an individual of. And these are so small. I mean, it will take me a while to hit pan on it, but okay. Wild card question. So pick a question from the original tag to answer. And I picked least used. And I picked this Too Faced Enchanted Glamourland palette. Do you guys remember this? Man, one, bulky as shizzle. Ridiculous packaging. I think I maybe used the Sun Bunny bronzer here in this blush 2 times. And then there's this thing that pulls out. And there's so many shades in here that are beautiful and gorgeous, but I haven't even touched. I mean, great shadows. The quality is wonderful, but this is just such a pain in the ass to get out and like undo and, you know, then put back together. Like it's just too much packaging. I am tempted, very tempted to depop these and just put them in a Z palette. I might actually go that route because I do want to use some of these shades. I mean, some of them are absolutely gorgeous. Look at this. Oh my God. What is this called? Exclusive. Look at this exclusive shade here. I mean, that on like the lower lash line. I have eyeshadow all over my fingers. This is, I have to wash my hands. But great shades in here. It's just least used because it's so bulky. I mean, you have to like fit this thing back in here just right. It's enormous too. So that's my least used. Name a palette you would recommend to a friend. Okay, and so what I did for this is it was really hard for me to choose, but I would say the original Tartelette palette is one that I would probably recommend as a good basic staple. It's between this and the Lorac Pro palette, the original, the black one. Hang on, let me get it. Oh. Okay. Sorry, I should have just brought it over in the first place. It was hard for me to pick between these two, but I ended up going with the Tartelette palette because I feel like these shades are so easy to blend for everybody. So even if you're just starting out, this is a really great formulation of eyeshadows. And there's warms, neutrals, and cools, and they're just so easy. They're great for every day. You can do a smoky eye, you can do a really neutral eye, you can do like a naked eye. It's a really easy palette to work with, and the formulation I feel like is good for basically everybody. So that's it. Those are all of the questions. There's only 8 questions. Again, I will list them down below for you. Let me know in the comments, maybe answer a couple of your favorite questions there for me, because I'd love to know what some of your guys' answers would be. So anyway, thank you guys so much for watching, and please subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.